Live from Bangkok, you're watching Thai PBS World. I'm Frank Kanchi, and today, of course, on the ground right now today, our team is at the 6th BIMSTEC Summit. 7 member states right now gathered in Thailand, as Bangkok is the host city of the BIMSTEC Summit, as Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra also called the leadership conference in Bangkok this time. As you can see on the screen, of course, the Prime Minister welcomed heads of state from 6 nations here in Bangkok, including Prime Minister Modi from India, Prime Minister Tobgay from Bhutan, and Prime Minister of Sri Lanka from Amara Surya, and Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli from Nepal, and lastly, of course, the Bangladesh Professor Yunus, Chief Advisor of Bangladesh. And another important figure we should talk about, of course, is the Myanmar's military leader, Min Aung Hlaing this time. This year, the participation of Myanmar raises a lot of awareness and criticism to Thailand, of course, because whether the military junta Min Aung Hlaing will come, but of course yesterday he already arrived in Bangkok. And this participation drew a lot of criticism to Thailand. In the morning, we saw the military junta joined the leadership conference in the morning and taking photo with Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra there, and other state leaders also joined the leadership conference. According to political analysts, the military junta aims to gain international recognition for the junta government, and of course ahead of the national election allegedly next year in January. And the junta attendance might improve bilateral relations between Thailand and Myanmar. Of course, right now we are still in a state of emergency in Myanmar following the 7.7 magnitude earthquake in central Myanmar now. But of course, as what I said, some criticism also lead to Thailand, as in Thailand's Prime Minister welcomed the military junta to the country. And of course, right now we are at the media center. We're still waiting for Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra to start the conclusion, the closing speech of this year's BIMSTEC Summit. And of course, I think we should give you a sense about the collaboration between Thailand and 6 other countries in South Asia. This time in BIMSTEC Summit, Thailand's goal is to connect with other countries here, no matter by memorandum of understandings or the sideline FTA with 2 countries, India and Bhutan. And this is the recap about the beginning of this summit on the 2nd April. On the first day of the BIMSTEC Summit, Thailand hosted the 25th session of the BIMSTEC Senior Officials Meeting in Bangkok. The meeting deliberated on important documents and decisions in preparation for today's leadership conference. As the leader country, Thailand, focusing on connectivity, Thailand highlighted the importance of the agreement on maritime transport, cooperation, and the completion of the India-Myanmar-Thailand trilateral highway, and presented the Bangkok Vision 2030 based on the concept of prosperous, resilient, and open BIMSTEC, which will serve as the theme in driving forward the agenda of BIMSTEC. The meeting further discussed administrative and financial issues of BIMSTEC, considered important documents, and noted reports on various BIMSTEC centers. At the meeting, all BIMSTEC members expressed solidarity with Myanmar and Thailand following the earthquake. And on the second day, of course, MoU, as what I talked about, it's very important to connect Thailand and South Asian countries on the BIMSTEC initiative. The meeting deliberated on the second day on 5th April on important documents and decisions in preparations for the 6th BIMSTEC Summit to be held on 4th April 2025, rather than, of course, the leadership conference. The minister endorsed 19 key documents, including plans of action in the various sectors of collaboration, including science, innovations, human resource development. Of course, this is very important as in this region want to forge the collaboration together, no matter on various sectors, to mitigate crises in the regional stage and global stage there. Notably, discussion were also held to enhance efforts on disaster management. This is what we talk about right now. Of course, following the earthquake in Myanmar, how BIMSTEC members can work together to give help and support humanitarian assistance in Myanmar. That's the key. And prior to the meeting, the minister signed BIMSTEC agreement on maritime transport cooperation, which will strengthen maritime connectivity within the BIMSTEC region. Of course, most of the BIMSTEC countries or nations, they are located at the Bay of Bengal this time. And of course, the maritime collaboration and connectivity on transport and support are very important. And there are two also MoUs signed at the summit on the second day too. The Indian Ocean Rim Association and the Memorandum of Understanding between BIMSTEC and the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime. And actually this is what Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, talked with Prime Minister of Thailand, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, yesterday to talk about how to really collaborate on security, of course, on transborder crime too. This is the key. And after that, actually, we will talk about, of course, the Prime Minister of India, Modi, also met the Thaksin Shinawatra, our former Prime Minister of Thailand too. The two memorandum of understanding will tighten inter-organizational cooperation and enhance BIMSTEC's roles in the international arena. And we talk about India too, of course. Thailand and India, right now they talk about strategic cooperation. We, of course, after I interviewed the ambassador of India in Thailand, and he told me that yesterday, India actually has a very long-term cooperation with Thailand about the defense cooperation. And this is what the Prime Minister of India, Modi, said yesterday. He said that, posted it on his X, quote, "Our talks focus on ways to deepen the India-Thailand strategic partnership. The sectors we discussed including strategic areas such as defense, security, maritime safety, and hydrography. We also reiterated our commitment to working together to overcome the challenges of terrorism, money laundering, and more." And of course, these areas are what, of course, the focus that both countries that want to cooperate and enhance the collaboration for transborder crime here. Of course, we talk about the transborder crime, money laundering, and security defense. And another part we should talk about, I think, is the Prime Minister Modi met our former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra here, because Mr. Thaksin Shinawatra and Modi had a long conversations also yesterday, and this is what he said, quote, "Mr. Shinawatra and I talked at length about India-Thailand cooperation and how it benefits the people of our respective countries. We deliberated on the immense potential in areas like defense, trade, culture, and more." And of course, we have to talk about the sideline meeting here. Of course, the BIMSTEC, the core issue is very important to collaborate with 7 countries together. But the sideline meeting, for example, Thailand and Bhutan, the free trade agreement is very important because this is the 17th free trade agreement from Thailand with other countries. And Thailand and Bhutan are already signed a free trade agreement on Thursday at Government House in Bangkok between, of course, Prime Minister of Thailand, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, and Prime Minister of Bhutan, Tariff too, marking Thailand's 17th such agreement, and it's first with a country outside Southeast Asia. Commerce Minister Pichai Naditapak confirmed that the signing on Wednesday, stating that he has been tasked by the cabinet to represent Thailand in the agreement. The signing ceremony was attended by our Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra and the counterpart Tariff. Pichai noted that this is the second free trade agreement secured during his tenure and a significant step in strengthening economic ties between the two nations. trade between Thailand and Bhutan reached 460 million baht last year, with Thailand exporting 457 million worth of goods and importing just over 3 million baht from Bhutan. And of course, this is a very remarkable and significant step for Thailand and Bhutan to really draw and forge the collaboration in trade and economy further. And speaking about the FTA between Thailand and Bhutan, I had a chance to have a conversation with the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Chairing Tokgay, at the BIMSTEC Summit. He mentioned that tight relations with Thailand and also the philosophy of enlightened leadership, the regional uncertainty in Myanmar. And of course, I think in that interview, we talk a lot of topics. At the beginning, of course, we talk about the free trade agreement, how that can really benefit two countries, Bhutan and Thailand. Of course, as what I said, over 460 million, but of course, that's not a big amount compared to the United States, China, those big superpowers, but that depth of the trade and cultural connections are very important for both countries. And of course, we also talk about the royal state visit. So Their Majesty King and Queen of Thailand will pay a state visit to Bhutan, to the counterpart, of course, there in Bhutan by the end of April. So actually, Prime Minister of Bhutan, Tokgay, told me that this is a very significant step for our royal visit to forge the cultural ties and the friendships between two countries there. And of course, we talk about U.S. That's a very important topic right now. The tariff policy unveiled by U.S. President Donald Trump that shocked a lot of Asian countries here, including BIMSTEC members, because, of course, Thailand faced a high levy of 36% rather, and, of course, Myanmar and Sri Lanka 44%, India only 26%. So, of course, you can see that trend still, that tariff already shocked a lot of Asian countries here. And I talked to the Prime Minister of Bhutan saying that how to join the force with BIMSTEC this time. And of course, please join if you have any opinions, let us know about what you think about this BIMSTEC Summit coverage here. And as what I said about the Bhutan Prime Minister here, of course, it's about the collaboration between BIMSTEC Summit, because the regionalization right now in the BIMSTEC initiative is continue growing at this moment, because the Prime Minister of Bhutan also talked about BIMSTEC FTA. Right now, it's still under the process and negotiation process. And he thinks that, of course, the forging collaboration between 2 and 7 countries here are very important. Lastly, of course, it's his ideology about enlightened leadership. To be a good leader under democratic system will be very important. And I think we have to give you a sense about what is BIMSTEC at this moment. And BIMSTEC, of course, is the 7 countries, or we call it the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. All BIMSTEC includes 7 countries in the Bay of Bengal, including nations, as what I said, in South Asia, in Southeast Asia, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Thailand. And of course, you can see on the screen right now, we've seen our Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra already on stage there to prepare for her closing speech at 6th BIMSTEC Summit at this moment. And of course, many people are still wondering what our Prime Minister would talk about on the closing speech. And we are waiting for the press conference, and you can see on the screen 7 member of states leaders there. They are taking photo together, of course, signaling the collaboration and friendship together. From left to right, you can see, of course, the Prime Minister of Nepal, India, Professor Yunus, Chief Advisor, our Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra in the center, the Prime Minister Bhutan, Dobgay next to our Prime Minister, and of course the military leader of Myanmar, Min Aung Hlaing, and Sri Lanka Prime Minister. This is a very historical picture and moment for us on the screen right now because this is the first time that Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, already Thailand, hosted the BIMSTEC Summit in Thailand, and this is the very important part for us. And as you can see, that more and more officials, and you can see you are joining the closing conference, a closing speech of Paetongtarn Shinawatra there, and of course other officials, diplomats, senior officials, Prime Minister, our Foreign Minister Marit Samliangpom, and Prime Minister Paetongtarn there. And of course, this time MoUs, FTA have been signed. We expect more collaboration for Thailand and other 6 countries there. That's what you're seeing right now. And of course, Prime Minister of India and Foreign Prime Minister of India also on the screen. You can see this is at the beginning of today. You can see Prime Minister Paetongtarn walked with Prime Minister of India into the summit today. And this is a very important step for Thailand, of course, because this is the way that Thailand wants to promote its connectivity, which is the theme of BIMSTEC Summit this year, to connect with other 6 countries together, no matter on security, collaboration, defense, trade, economy, on the backdrop, of course, the economic uncertainties in the globe. And you can see on the screen again, this is the moment ago they take a photo together, 7 leaders together to conclude the 6th BIMSTEC Summit in Bangkok. But right now, of course, we are still waiting for our Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra there to give us a speech. It will say that there's no QA session after that, but let's see if we will have some opportunities for Paetongtarn Shinawatra to give us some chances to have Q&A session there. And of course, we are expecting that in the conference call, and of course before the closing speech by the Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, we expected that, of course, she would talk about the collaboration with 6 other countries. Will she talk about Myanmar? Of course, she will talk about the Myanmar earthquake this time, but how about the participation of Myanmar in this year's summit? Or how about the political implications from Myanmar's participation to Thailand? Will she talk about that? I think this is what more than 100 media outlets today come to Bangkok to want to get answer, because of course Myanmar's participation this time also highlighted the importance of the bilateral relations between Thailand and Myanmar. And of course, the Myanmar side is very important too. And what is BIMSTEC? Of course, right today, BIMSTEC is the 7 countries together that's from Southeast Asia countries. Of course, the India say that the Thailand is the door to Southeast Asia. So actually, the Bay of Bengal countries, they want to work with Thailand to have a connections to South Asia. And the reason why BIMSTEC has been formed to create an enabling environment for rapid economic development through identification and implementation of specific cooperation projects in the already agreed areas of cooperation to accelerate the economic growth and social progress in Bay of Bengal region through joint endeavors in spirit of equality and partnership. As you can see on the screen right now, of course, in the middle, that's the Bay of Bengal and other countries, 7 countries together surrounding the Bay of Bengal, and Thailand as the door to Southeast Asia. And let's have a look at the economic outlook. As of 2023, the 7 member states of BIMSTEC have a combined population of 1.8 billion people, accounting for 22% of the global population. Their collective GDP stands at $4.9 trillion, representing 4.67% of the global economy. Meanwhile, their external trade is valued at $1.88 trillion, making up 2.98% of global trade. And this is a very huge and important volume and amount of trade connection. And of course, the global population there are very important. And what about the history? Because we turn the time back to 97. On 6 June 1997, the Bangkok Declaration marked the establishment of the Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand Economic Cooperation, or BIMSTEC. In December, Myanmar also joined the grouping, prompting a renaming to BIMSTEC, Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand Economic Cooperation. And of course, we talk about, I just interviewed the Prime Minister of Bhutan. The FTA is very important between two countries, and also we discuss a little bit about the Myanmar's situation. Take a listen. I want to talk about, of course, last year I went to Chulalongkorn University to listen to your speech too on the philosophy.
You were there?
Yes, I was there. So listen to you
Thank
about
you.
your philosophy, enlightened leadership. I think this is very important philosophy or ideology for our audience too. As in, of course, under this philosophy, of course, we are in a very uncertain world with uncertainties in this region, globally. For example, of course, we talk about Myanmar in this region, or globally, economic uncertainties too. So under your philosophy, how could we really mitigate the crisis, or we have different mindset about these issues?
Well, to address any crisis, you need leaders.
Yeah.
You need good leaders. To move, to understand the situation, the current situation, the status quo, you need good leaders.
Yeah.
To take people from where we are in the status quo to a better place, almost like a promised land, you need good leaders. Whenever there is change, to move from the status quo to a better place requires change, and whenever there's change, it involves sacrifices, and sacrifices is painful,
Yeah.
and people resist it. And so you need to have good leadership to help people on that journey of change. I believe that enlightened leadership has some value.
Yep.
And I consider enlightened leadership as leaders who exercise wisdom, courage, and compassion, and are driven by selfless service, not personal interests. Selfless service. Wisdom is important, but it's not sufficient. You need courage to implement that wisdom. And courage alone is sufficient. You need to have compassion for the fears and anxieties that people will feel along the journey whenever there is change. So wisdom, courage, compassion, driven by selfless service. Now both Bhutan and Thailand have been blessed with enlightened leaders. So this is why both our countries were never colonized.
Yeah.
This is why in both our countries our spirituality is thriving. This is why in Thailand you talk of sufficiency economy. In Bhutan we talk of gross national happiness. This is the legacy of our enlightened kings, enlightened leaders.
This time you come here for BIMSTEC Summit. In the sideline meeting, of course, Thailand and Bhutan signed the free trade agreement here. How does that really forge the collaboration, and what is the economic benefits for both countries?
Well, you're right. I've come here primarily to attend the BIMSTEC Summit, which is under the chairmanship of Thailand.
Yeah.
And Honorable Prime Minister is doing a wonderful job in chairing the BIMSTEC Summit. I know it's going to be very successful, and her success and Thailand's success is going to bode well for the entire BIMSTEC region. But I'm not here just for BIMSTEC. I'm also here because I have many Thai friends and to meet many of my Thai friends and also to meet members of the Thai government and to not just discuss any longer, but to sign the free trade agreement.
Yeah.
And this free trade agreement is very important for both our countries. Bhutan is a small landlocked country, and the only other country we have a free trade agreement is with our very close friend and very close neighbor, India.
Yeah.
And now we have a free trade agreement with Thailand. This shows how close our relations are, the relations between Thailand and Bhutan. This relation is not just between government to government and people to people. This friendship between our two great countries is anchored in the friendship between our two royal families.
Another part we have to talk about, of course, economy. Now, at this point, of course, we have seen U.S. President Donald Trump there to impose tariff on several countries, including BIMSTEC members too. For example, Thailand 36%, India 26%, Myanmar 44%. What do you think about the function of BIMSTEC to mitigate the crisis? Because some people, of course, they already talk about, actually there's a BIMSTEC FTA is under negotiation, on the process. What do you think?
This should give impetus to all BIMSTEC member countries to fast track economic integration by way of the FTA for the BIMSTEC region. This should, what's happening the world over, should make our member countries, particularly the leaders, think very carefully on how we want to move forward within the changing environment in the world, the changing geopolitical environment in the world. I think this is an opportunity for us. What's happening elsewhere, the circumstances that are changing elsewhere, is an opportunity for the BIMSTEC region to do what it has always set out to do, to integrate our economies a lot more closely together. And again, with the leadership of the Thai government, under Honorable Prime Minister's leadership, I think we do have a good shot at making headway during the summit.
Right, of course, this is my conversation with the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Chairing Dokpe here. And of course, he mentioned about the importance of the FTA between Thailand and Bhutan. And of course, a little bit about the Myanmar issue here. He talked about the good leaders amid the transitions in these uncertainties in the regional landscape and global landscape here. And of course, as if you just join us now, right now, Thai PBS World Team is on the ground at the 6th BIMSTEC Summit taking place in Bangkok, Thailand. And this is a very important step for Thailand to collaborate with 6 other countries in the Bay of Bengal here, no matter it's by the MoU, Memorandum of Understandings, or Sign Line Free Trade Agreement here. And of course the MoU including maritime transport, that of course Bay of Bengal is part of the sea, that 7 countries can work together to enhance the transport connections among these 7 countries. And of course the security collaboration, trade, defense, and the later of that, of course, is the transporter crime that Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, emphasized them. And let's take a little bit look about the initiative of BIMSTEC this time, of course, to facilitate the collaboration within the bloc. Thailand aims to increase its role to connect BIMSTEC members through trade and transportation, and also in Southeast Asia too. And this is Thailand's, as what I said, Thailand's theme this year at the BIMSTEC Summit is connectivity. Connectivity remains a key priority for BIMSTEC, with the Transport Connectivity Working Group leading regional efforts. At the 5th BIMSTEC Summit in 2022, leaders adopted the BIMSTEC Master Plan for Transport Connectivity, a 10-year strategy to enhance infrastructure across roads, railway, maritime transport, civil aviation, and trade facilitation. The plan outlines 267 projects worth $124 billion with a plan of action currently in development. A draft agreement on maritime transport cooperation is set to be signed at the next summit alongside a motor vehicle agreement to improve land connectivity. BIMSTEC as an organization is also working with the Asian Development Bank, which has supported the master plan and study on financing transport infrastructure while assisting with the mid-term review to keep regional connectivity goals on track. And of course, other countries, other 6 countries, they also have their own initiatives. For example, Bangladesh, they focus on trade, investment and development and blue economy, environment and climate change and mountain economy. For Bhutan, of course, security, energy and disaster management in India, agriculture and food security and fishery and livestock. In Myanmar, people-to-people contact and poverty alleviation. In Nepal, science, technology and innovation, health and human resource development. Sri Lanka. So, of course, 7 countries, they have own their initiative, but the important method is to work together to push these 7 sides, 7 sector and aspect together to the future. And of course, as what we said about the BIMSTEC Summit this time, of course, we see Paetongtarn Shinawatra, our Prime Minister, met a lot with the other 6 leaders there, no matter it's with Prime Minister of Modi yesterday to talk about the security collaboration, defense, as in, of course, India and Thailand have already cooperated on defense for a long time. Another one, of course, with Prime Minister of Bhutan too, we signed the free trade agreement here together to see if there's any possible sign to grow the trade together. And of course, as what I said about the royal state visit, to Bhutan by the end of April. And of course, we talk about the MoU and trade here is such important jobs for Thailand to focus on both countries. And of course, the MoU and of course an FTA is very important too. Another one we just talk about Modi and the Prime Minister, and of course the former Prime Minister with Thaksin there, Modi and Thaksin's. I think their meeting was very important. It's and also remarkable yesterday that they also talk about defense, talk about security, talk about cooperation that Prime Minister Modi posted on his X to signify the importance between Modi and Hun Thaksin Shinawatra there. And of course, also the Prime Minister of India, Modi, met the Prime Minister of Thailand too, Paetongtarn Shinawatra there. That is very important as in trade, security, defense, and of course, how to connect with Myanmar from India to Thailand, and of course the issue that we talk about, no matter is the following part of the earthquake, the crisis there, or the political implications in Myanmar here. And of course, we've seen some minor protests in Thailand about Myanmar issue too, but of course right now in BIMSTEC Summit, the military leader of Myanmar, Min Aung Hlaing, already joined BIMSTEC Summit, and the leadership conference actually started at 10 a.m. today. 7 nations leaders get together in this time, and of course we're still waiting for Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra there to give us the speech to conclude the summit. And of course, in the summit, we also talk about the MoU. We talk about the FTA with other countries, security collaboration with other countries too. And maybe we can have a look about what is BIMSTEC at this moment. Of course, earlier in the program, I talked about it. The BIMSTEC is 7 countries together surrounding the Bay of Bengal, and we call it Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Includes 7 countries in the Bay of Bengal, in South Asia and Southeast Asia. The reasons why the BIMSTEC has been formed to create an enabling environment for rapid economic development through identification and implementation of specific cooperation projects in the already agreed areas of cooperation to accelerate the economic growth and social progress in the region. As of 2023, the 7 member states of BIMSTEC have combined a population of 1.8 billion people, accounting for 22%. And this is very important, of course, step for BIMSTEC countries to work together. As what we talk about, actually, Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India yesterday met our Prime Minister Paetongtarn there and also met Thaksin Shinawatra. And that's a very important discussion to enhance the bilateral cooperation together. So former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra met yesterday with visiting Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the sidelines meeting of the 6th summit of the Bay of Bengal regional grouping in Bangkok. Modi posted photos of himself shaking hands and speaking with Thaksin, the father of current Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, who will chair the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, or BIMSTEC Summit today. And this is what Modi wrote on his Facebook, quote, "We deliberately on the immense potential in areas like defense, trade, culture, and more," unquote. Modi said Thaksin has extensive experience in governance and policy making and described him as a great friend of India, noting his warm relationship with the late a former Indian Prime Minister. Thaksin is believed to be the de facto super boss behind decision-making in his daughter's government and the ruling Pheu Thai party. Modi was in Bangkok to attend the BIMSTEC Summit, which brings together leaders from the 7 members regional group comprising Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Myanmar, Nepal, India, and Thailand. And of course, this is what the political implication from the former Prime Minister of Thailand, Thaksin Shinawatra, there, because some criticism, according to some political analysts, because they criticize that actually the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra is always at the behind of the current Prime Minister, his daughter Paetongtarn Shinawatra there. As in, of course, Modi already met our current Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, and there is no need for Thaksin Shinawatra, the former Prime Minister, to step in to interfere the meeting and the benefits for Thailand at this timing. And of course, I think Paetongtarn Shinawatra also put efforts to collaborate with these countries, no matter by FTA or MoUs here. But one part that we have to talk about actually in the summit is that the Bangkok Vision 2030 for BIMSTEC is very important, as Thailand is the leading country this time at BIMSTEC Summit, focusing on connectivity. Thailand highlights the importance of agreement on maritime transport, as what I said, and the completion of the India-Myanmar-Thailand trilateral highway, and presented the Bangkok Vision 2030 on the concept of prosperous, resilient, and open BIMSTEC, which will serve as the theme in driving forward for the future BIMSTEC initiative. The meeting further discussed administrative, financial issues of BIMSTEC, considered important documents, and noted reports on various BIMSTEC centers. At the meeting, all BIMSTEC members expressed solidarity with Myanmar and Thailand following the recent earthquake. So now, of course, we are still waiting for our Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra there in the morning at the leadership conference. 7 countries leaders together. They work together. They want to push BIMSTEC to become a very strong bloc in this region. And of course, we're still waiting for that. Okay, right. So of course, right now, BIMSTEC Summit is very important at this point. Actually, this time, of course, I have the opportunities to interview one expert in Thailand to talk about South Asian issues, no matter in Myanmar, India's connection to Thailand, and Thailand's role in South Asia and Southeast Asia. So to give you more analysis about the BIMSTEC Summit and Thailand's role in the Bay of Bengal region, Professor Piana Soikam in Politics and International Relations at Ubon Ratchathani University provides us insights about economic and political implications following Myanmar's junta's leaders' participation in Thailand. This is my conversation with the professor.
I think BIMSTEC is very important and also exciting sub-regional organization that try to link the two regions in Asia, South Asia and Southeast Asia, where we have 7 member countries. And I think it's very important because of when we think about Asia or Southeast Asia, it's not just only us, but we also having an opportunity to meet with others. I mean, South Asian member, where if we can count the number of population in the region of the Bay of Bengal, it would be like 1.9 billion of the people. So that I think is very important, and it can help and enhance connectivity, but not just only in terms of economic relation, but I think it's also giving us presence and visibility of our neighbor. So what I mean by neighbor, we all always perceive that South Asia is something that far from us, but if as we connect through the Bay of Bengal, we share the maritime border. That's the reason why we are maritime neighbors in this.
Yeah, of course, you talk about maritime neighbors here, and this morning actually, I think Foreign Minister they just signed MoU about maritime transport to enhance the connectivity in maritime borders too. Another part we should talk about, I think, is security collaboration here, because of course the geopolitical tensions right now in the region is quite tense at this moment. And what do you think about the security collaboration to enhance countries' collaboration on this one?
I think the security cooperation is one of the sectors that the BIMSTEC has been focused since the beginning. But the terms of security is not only the traditional security that we look at like defense or something, but I think the terms of the security that BIMSTEC try to focus more is non-traditional security. It's evolved around, like, for example, the transnational crime. I think there will be an MoU on transnational drug and crime that the BIMSTEC leader going to adopt on this, and also the other non-traditional security, for example, the disaster management, as we already just had the earthquake in Myanmar and Thailand. And I think BIMSTEC will robust more in terms of the disaster management. They are going to actually now the BIMSTEC set up the disaster center in India. So at that, I think this will be another step that we can work in terms of the non-traditional security, and more. I think more of the idea on security. I think maybe on energy security. That now the energy sector also be the topic that the BIMSTEC already working on, and the BIMSTEC energy center in India also play a vital role. For example, the solar cell integrate system among the member states.
It's very important. Of course, you talk about energy here, because no matter it's the new renewable energy that I think both countries or those countries that work together will be a key. But one thing we have to talk about, I think, is Myanmar, because it's very sensitive and interesting topic this time, because some people say that actually Myanmar take all the spotlight this time. But what do you think about Myanmar's role this time? Because of course the junta leaders, the leader Min Aung is confirmed to attend, and now maybe already in Bangkok. So what do you think about Myanmar's role?
I think BIMSTEC as a platform for sub-regional maybe negotiation, sub-regional platform for cooperation. I think it's also one of the option or one of the platform that Myanmar can join the international community. As we have heard about the earthquake, I think this also the important step for Myanmar to come out and to meet with their neighborhood so that we can help in terms of humanitarian assistance and also disaster maybe for health and assistance. And as per the concerns or over Myanmar, I think it's not that that concern as in my aspect. I think it's a hope of the other countries surrounding Myanmar because Myanmar it's the land link between the BIMSTEC nation connecting South Asia and Southeast Asia. In case if the situation in Myanmar gets better, it also help the connectivity, especially the trilateral highway that connecting India, Myanmar, and also Thailand. I think it's also something that I think the BIMSTEC leaders or BIMSTEC Summit could be one of the mechanism or one of the drivers in order to make maybe peaceful settlement in Myanmar. But I think in the terms of the for internal politics also, I think maybe something that BIMSTEC might not that take that much. I think maybe in other aspect.
But how controversial is that for the Myanmar junta's participation in Thailand? Because some analysts say that actually this might harm Thailand's reputation in the world. What do you think?
I think in all, I mean, in all BIMSTEC member country or all other nations in the world also having some internal politics. But I think when coming to the international arena or regional cooperation, I think it's also a platform that we can share and we can learn from each other. I think giving a chance for Myanmar to stand there and raising their opinion and their voice on some issue, I think it's the duties or it's a must for sub-regional cooperation to give a chance for them to.
Right. Last question just about the tariff. Of course, this morning we just seen the tariff on India, on Thailand too. How can the BIMSTEC bloc really mitigate the crisis?
For the tariff, I think it's the BIMSTEC also giving us the option to cooperate, to work together, and actually the member state in BIMSTEC already discussed about the BIMSTEC FTA, which already 21 times already. So they are negotiating, they are working on a BIMSTEC FTA, which I think it will be giving us a lot of opportunities because there is no like distance in terms of like shipping and logistics because we are neighbors. And we can use the blue economy and maritime connectivity as our strength to boost our economy. And also we have 1.9 billion. I think it's very important. A large number of the population in the region. Yeah, that might be another option for not focus much on the US tariff. Come back and then talk within our Bay of Bengal region.
This is Professor Pianat Soikam there to give us insight about Myanmar issue there. And of course, despite political implications, the professor say that this is an opportunity, huge opportunity for Myanmar to join international communities before the election, allegedly next year. And of course, actually, there's another side of the professor from another side told the newspaper in Thailand that Thailand shouldn't touch the Myanmar issues there. And the recommendation, of course, from the professor of Bunyapap Brichachat, saying that expressed concern for Myanmar's earthquake victims. Thank me online for recent release of detained Thai fishing crew, avoiding making a statement that could be seen as supporting Myanmar's upcoming election here. But of course, right now we are still waiting for our Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra to give us the closing speech of the sixth BIMSTEC Summit this time. But unfortunately, I think right now the closing speech, the press conference now has been delayed for more than 30 minutes at this moment. So I think we will give you updates on our website and of course our social media too on Thai PBS World. If you want to get any updates and more news stories about BIMSTEC, please follow our Facebook page, Instagram, and all social media platforms there. So today, of course, our team right now at the BIMSTEC Summit venue will closely monitor what happened in the summit and at the closing speech. And of course, please follow us. And I'm Frank Kanshi. See you next time. สวัสดีครับ